The U.S. faced some food shortages last year, and the same thing can happen again this year.
Food prices will reach peak prices in September.
Here are 6 foods that could be in short supply in 2023. 2022 was characterized as a year in which Americans faced food shortages, with eggs and baby formula being the most affected products.
The US infant formula shortage looks set to drag on. It sparked panic earlier in the year, with parents rushing to grab supplies as shelves emptied.
Although those days seem far away now, in 2023, it appears that the outlook will not be much different. According to a report by Go Banking Rates, in the coming months, the U.S. could face a new food shortage, so make sure to watch until the end to find out which food items you should be stocking up in your pantry. Here is a list of products that could see price increases after they fly off the shelves, according to the Financial Portal. Corn and flour. For a long time, Ukraine was positioned as the top corn and flour producer. However, the war with Russia has reduced its production, which has begun to affect the market. Although the Turkish government has so far been able to strike a deal with Russia to allow ships filled with the vital foods to leave Ukrainian ports and safely navigate out of the waters of the Black Sea, this arrangement is very fragile and can easily be broken by either side. A shortage of corn or flour would mean a big problem, considering that it is a basic resource for the creation of many other products, including cereals, fried foods, tortillas, and even soft drinks. Beef. 2023 will also likely bring a beef shortage, meaning you may need to shell out more if you want to serve burgers and steak. Last year, a drought in Texas resulted in less grass feed for cows. At the same time, alternative feeds were expensive, so farmers sold their cattle earlier than anticipated. Their female cows were unable to have new calves, so we won't see as many cows available for slaughter until the herds replenish. The meat industry forecast for 2023 predicts a significant decrease in the supply of beef, leading to higher prices for everyone. Reports estimate that, on average, Americans will eat 5.6% less beef this year due to shortages. If you don't want to eat less meat, then securing your supply now is crucial. When the supply dropped 4% in 2003, fed steer prices advanced nearly 25%, similar to the situations in 2011. A 3.9% decline in supplies led to a 20% price increase. And 2014, a 3.8% decline contributed to a 23% price jump. We could be looking at a similar 20% price spike or beef in 2023. There are several reasons behind the current meat shortage crisis. The closure of meat processing plants due to outbreaks or even potential outbreaks of COVID-19 among workers caused a major slowdown in production, leading to supply chain disruptions. The pandemic has also led to a decrease in the total herd size since farmers were selling cows earlier than they usually would. They did this to take advantage of pandemic prices and probably to stay open in trying times. Bread production could also be affected by the war between Russia and Ukraine. According to Go Banking Rates, both countries account for 20% of world cereal grain production. Given the shortage of flour, it only makes sense that there will also be a bread shortage in 2023. Again, the war in Ukraine is impacting grain exports, and by extension flour. Since there is no end in sight, the bread shortage has the potential to continue throughout all of 2023 and beyond. We saw a lower supply of bread in 2022, and it looks like things will only get more dire in the coming year, as demand for bread will be just as high, if not higher, and the supply will likely be lower. Baby formula.
Panicked families are struggling to find formula to feed their babies. A devastating shortage has left supermarket shelves empty across the country.
The shortage of baby formula has not been fully resolved. According to information provided by Enfamil, the largest producer of formula, replenishment will take much of 2023, which means shortages will continue.
The White House had to step in, flying in supplies to help alleviate shortages. Now a key manufacturer says the problem isn't over. It says the formula shortage will persist until spring.
The near year-long infant formula shortage in the United States that prompted the intervention of the White House is likely to persist until spring, according to Reckitt Benckiser, the maker of what is now the biggest brand in the market, Enfamil. Panicked parents had earlier this year emptied the baby formula aisles at supermarkets after former top U.S. manufacturer Abbott Laboratories in February recalled dozens of types of its Similac, Alimentum, and EleCare formulas. The products, made at a plant in Michigan, were pulled after complaints of bacterial infections. Supermarkets like Target and Walgreens Boots Alliance were forced to limit sales, putting pressure on the Biden administration to address the crisis.
There's nothing more stressful than the feeling you can't get what your child needs.
The White House in May took steps to address the shortage, invoking the Defense Production Act to help manufacturers obtain the ingredients needed to ramp up supply. Supplies are yet to return to normal since the peak of the crisis in May and June, despite the U.S. making progress in replenishing stocks, said Robert Cleveland, Reckitt's Senior Vice President of North America and Europe Nutrition. Vegetable oil. Vegetable oil, an essential in everything from pizza dough to shampoo, is in short supply largely because of weather disasters and the growing use of biofuels to replace fossil fuels as the fight against climate change intensifies. Bloomberg recently reported that producers are looking for used oil, the sludge from processing palm oil and new non-food crops that could be converted for ethanol and biodiesel. We're expecting a vegetable oil shortage in 2023. Canola oil, soybean oil, palm oil, and sunflower oil will be tricky to come by over the next few months because 1. Canada, the leading producer of canola oil, had a small crop yield last year. 2. South America suffered from a drought, resulting in a small crop of soybeans. 3. Indonesia, the largest palm oil producer, decided to stop exporting palm oil in April of 2022. Then, the Indonesian government limited exports, requiring palm oil producers to keep 1 ton of oil in the country for every 8 shipped out. This has resulted in a 25% decrease in palm oil shipments from the country. 4. 70% of the world's sunflower seeds and oil originated in Russia and Ukraine, so the current war means the change of a vegetable oil shortage in 2023 is high. Canned pet food. Buyers of canned pet food could be hit in 2023 by a shortage of aluminum, making it harder to get hold of. We all know that if there's one thing our pets love to do, it's eat. But you might have noticed it's been a lot harder to find your pet's food in stores lately. What gives? Amidst recent shortages of eggs and oranges, dog food is the latest item to be feeling the shortage heat. And not to mention, the latest good to face rising prices. If pet food aisles seem sparse, it's likely due to supply chain issues. A familiar issue lately for stores and consumers, especially over the past few years, supply chain issues have affected almost everything you can think of. In this case, these supply chain issues are significantly impacting smaller stores. One grocery store manager, Dave Clark, explains the pet food shortage. The amount available doesn't cover the market like it needs to, he says. Raw materials, according to my suppliers, raw materials are diverted first towards human use. As of now, there's no clear-cut answer on when the pet food shortage will end. However, there certainly is hope in sight. If you have enjoyed this video, you might like the videos shown above. Stay prepared and stay safe.